to. All right. So to begin, you can come in. I think someone's just joined us. Oh, excellent. Yay. So to begin, you can choose again to mute or have your screen on. If you have your screen on, I will give you cues, not personally, but I'll just give cues if I see a thing. All right, so coming into a comfortable position to take a seat for a few minutes, and that can be up to you how that looks. And just take an opportunity to sort of drop down into your body. And in your mind, if you can take a moment to close your eyes or look towards the ground to help you tune in. And take a moment to think about the themes or seasonal aspects of this time, being the star card in the tarot, the astrological season of Aquarius. We may also acquaint ourselves with the planet Neptune. And anything from your own repertoire that speaks to you. We're very close to the Lunar New Year. And if your body invites you, take a moment to scan kind of from your toes up through your legs, your mid body, upper body, shoulders, arms, hands, the neck, the face, and the head, the top of the head. And as you breathe, just notice if your body has any information for you from those areas. You can do the scan again, this time from the top of the head down. Just take one more pass and see if there's any information as you go down through your back, the hips and the legs, and down to the feet. And just notice there, if there's any information your body would like to communicate with you. And when you feel ready, take a moment to find the ground underneath your bottom. As you breathe, notice if you're able to feel the air moving in and out through your nostrils, if that feels all right. If you're able to bring your lips together and breathe in and out through the nostrils, down through the esophagus, and into the belly. Notice the sensations through the nostrils, the esophagus, and in the belly. And when you breathe out, I invite you to notice if you're able to feel the ground a little differently. If you feel part of yourself because you feel the ground meeting it there. And as you continue to breathe, I invite you to bring the air into your belly and let it be loose. And when you're ready to breathe out, if you can squeeze out the last little bit of air at the end. Breathing in again, making the belly soft and loose. When you're ready to breathe out at the very end, using the abdominal muscles to squeeze out the last little bit of air. Each time you breathe. Now on the exhale, pressing down into the ground. Just notice as you do this, you feel that connection running deeper with each out breath into the ground. And if there's some nourishment there from Mother Earth that comes as you press into the ground, if it presses back up to you. And then when you feel ready, as you breathe again, pressing out and down on your out breath, When you begin to inhale, bringing the air into the belly, and this time up through the ribs, the chest, elongating the spine, and exhale again, squeezing out. And making this breath really fluid, exploration, the edges of your breathing capacity, squeezing out at the end, receiving the nourishment from the ground. And then breathing in through the belly, up through the ribs and the chest, lengthening up through the top of the head. And the out breath returning to the earth, receiving nourishment. On the in breath, as you reach up, drawing in your breath and all of the energy and nourishment from the cosmos. And in this way, sort of drawing from your center, from your heart, as you breathe out, down, and as you breathe in, up, and creating this center point at your heart, reaching up and down through your middle pillar, if you will, a strong, abiding center. And when you feel ready, you can allow your breath to return back to its natural state. And take a moment to receive from your brow, in the spot between your eyes, an intention that you would like to hold for your work today, for our time together. And when you feel ready, you can begin to move around a little bit on the ground, shifting your bottom. And we're going to move into a small ritual. And this is to orient ourselves about our heart. Be a heart metta ritual, you could call it. We're going to do two mudras. The Hakini mudra, or the prana mudra, the prana mudra, and the Samputa mudra, which looks like kind of a seed. So the prana mudra looks like a star out from the palms of the hands, and your fingers, both on top and bottom, thumbs and fingers touch. And they reach out like a star. And then the the Samputa mudra looks like a seed. So you're kind of collecting things. And then there's a star. So what we're going to do with sound here is make an om. But an om, A-U-M, Aum. And you can do this silently, internally, if that feels best. We can do it aloud. So as we gather the seed, we draw it into the heart, and then reaching out, we expand and share it with the world. And then when we're ready to inhale, we om, open our arms wide to collect the love of the universe. And then drawing down through our middle pillar, through our center, into the heart, we make a seed collection of all of that power and love of the universe. And then we reach out as we om and share it with all. So we'll try this a few times. You can follow along or go at your own pace, and just begin with the Anjali mudra. You can press your thumbs into your heart in this prayer position. Take a nice deep breath. And when you're ready, spread your arms wide and bring them up towards the ceiling. Draw them together and make the seed Samputa mudra. Draw it down through the center of the body and out, reaching out. And then up again, sharing with all the world, receiving and giving. Down through the center. Out. Oh. 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 And this last time, you can bring the hands right back to the heart and just make that Hakini mudra. So we'll spread. We'll use this as an opportunity to connect with each other as we continue on this work. We can begin to out and draw the arms out, reach the fingertips out so that you're kind of as though we would be touching our fingertips in this spread Hakini. And we'll do 3 arms like this, and you can imagine reaching out and touching each other's fingertips, coming close together this way. Out. And you can release your hands down to your side. Just take a moment to breathe. Happening in your body. Notice how this heart blessing has landed for you. Feel warm or movement of energy or fluid in your body. And when you feel ready, you can just come, if you're not already, onto your mat. And we're going to start with a little bit of movement. So we'll begin with a kneeling yoga mudra. And this would just be from your kneeling position. And you can sort of exhale and just allow your body naturally to come forward. And you can either make fists to rest your head on, or if you have pillows, anything at all, you can kind of rest your head so that your third eye or your brow position is going to press on the ground. You can just take a moment here to breathe and notice what that feels like. And then
Hey, Don, we lost your sound. Oh, okay. Oh, no, I can't hear you. Oh, there we go.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
No worries. So where did I leave off? My brow on the ground, hands together overhead. And again, you can make little shifts. If your body invites, you can sort of move around with the brow on the ground gently. Just see if you can make little circles. And just do whatever feels natural with your hands. And take another deep breath. And then when you feel ready, you can bend your elbows and bring your hands to either side of your shoulders. And on either side of your shoulders, your hands will just fall underneath your shoulders. So coming into a table form, the knees are right underneath the hips. And we're just going to move into a gentle warm up here, alternating between the cow and the child. So when you're ready to exhale, you can allow your seat to come back down towards the ground. And inhale, look forward, press into the hands, come up. The belly comes down, the shoulders and hips come up. And then you come back down again, letting the bottom lead. When you're ready to inhale, looking forward, press into the hands. Exhale, switch the back around, the tailbone comes down towards the ground. Inhale, looking forward, press into the hands, come forward. And again, here, I would ask that you move with your own breath. You allow your breath to initiate the movement and the change in the movement, and that you take the time to explore each of these little micro movements and journeys in between. And when you feel ready, you can come up to table and sort of settle into that neutral form. And now we're going to sort of curl the toes under a little bit and just press into the hands and just lift the knees off the ground. So we're not moving too far. We're just sort of moving around the feet more than anything. Bringing the thighs to the belly, sort of moving back and forth. And if this feels okay for you, you can keep the knees up and just walk the hands towards you a little bit so that you shift to be kind of sitting on your knees, or sorry, sitting on your feet in a squat. So if this is okay for your knees, if you have any kind of pain, just come back the way you came. So you're kind of alternating a little bit this way. But if it feels okay, you can move your move and shift your feet around and just sort of settle into a situation that's comfortable for you. So this might mean you need to use your hands to support you and come up a little bit. Everybody's a little bit different about the state of their knees and how comfortable that is, and you can choose more or less intensity here. It's just taking a moment to breathe, and we can use our hands here to create more intensity by bringing the palms together over the heart. But we can also continue to keep moving and reduce the intensity this way if it's too much sensation for this moment in time. And then when you feel ready, we're going to inhale and just kind of slowly lengthen the knees. So using your feet, and you can kind of alternate foot to foot to prepare to come up. Just kind of warm up your knees a little bit this way. And then if your body invites you, see if you can press into your hands and just lift your bottom so that your belly comes to the thighs. So your legs are loose, your knees are bent, the belly's resting on the thighs. And again, you can continue to move around on your feet, especially if there's tension or intensity in the knees. And then when you feel ready, lengthen the knees as much or as little as you'd like. So keeping the belly connected with the thighs, and I'll come from the side here. So the belly touching the thighs the whole time. So whatever you do, belly on the thighs
Don, not sure if you're still there, but one of your computers is out, the one that we were watching you on.
I'm still here, but I don't know what's happening with. Okay. So sorry. Thank you for being patient. And if we'll come out of our forward bend here, we should be still kind of with the belly on the thighs, and we're just going to kind of walk up to a bent knee. So like a loose knee, we're moving into a chair form. So here from the chair, we can alternate foot to foot. Just sort of shift side to side. Notice how your knees feel here. If you can bring the weight into the heels, and just slowly allow the bottom to kind of sink into a comfortable form, as if you're going to sit, of course, in a chair. And breathing deeply, lifting the chest to see if you can bring your arms up to shoulder height. If that feels very intense, at any time you can reduce your intensity. You can play with the intensity, becoming forward on your feet, coming up a little higher off your legs, or bringing the arms down at any time that you wish. You can invite and practice this intensity back and forth with the sensations. And if you want more intensity, still you can lift your hands up to shoulder height or beyond. When you feel ready, press into the toes and come all the way up to standing. Reach towards the ceiling and just kind of lengthen side to side. Get a nice little stretch. Make any kind of micro movements that you might like. And continue to breathe. Just take a moment to sort of tune in, move along with what your body desires, and notice the sensations that are arising, coming back to stillness. Take a nice deep breath. When you feel ready, you can bring your feet together. Side by side is great, but some people feel more comfortable with their feet right underneath their hips. So we can kind of walk side to side and really tune into the body and let the body tell you what's going on. Take a nice breath and bring your weight into your left foot. And we're moving really gently into the eagle form. And when you're ready, you can sort of see what it feels like to connect with a focus point or a drishti point, a spot on the wall that you can fix your gaze on. As you fix your gaze here, just notice if you're able to send your breath to and from this spot that you've got your gaze on, the still abiding spot. And when you feel ready, you can loosen that leg that you're kind of keeping your weight on. Just loosen it so that the knee is not locked. And taking the weight fully into that leg, see if you can lift the right foot and just kind of wrap it around. And you can employ the wall or anything to hold your weight in balance right now if you need to. There is absolutely no need to worry about any kind of instability or falling. That's all part of the practice, just so long as you're safe here. So wherever your right leg sort of fits over top of your left leg, ideally thigh on top of thigh. But if not, you can cross them and keep both feet on the ground as well. You can come up on the toe. Again, this is about looking at these sensations for yourself, and every day it will be different. So finding a spot that you'd like to settle in to the eagle form, bringing your awareness up to your arms and coming up to shoulder height with the arms, if that's possible. If you have one hand on the wall, you can keep it on the wall and lengthen the other hand. We're going to bring in the arm form. If this is particularly challenging, it is totally fine as well. to take a seat and just employ the arms here. So as we have the right leg on top, we'll have the right arm on the bottom. The right arm comes around the bottom, the left on top, and just kind of twist them around so that the palms come together. And again, at any time if you need to take a break, you can put your right foot back on the ground. This is a balancing practice. And so the ebbs and flows are quite importantly a part of it. And continue to breathe deeply, noticing your drishti point, and noticing if your arms, if your hands line up with that drishti point, that focus point. If you can draw your elbows up from your chest and your hands away from your face. Take one more deep breath. Whenever you're ready, you can put both feet down, rest them on the ground, and then release the arms and bring them out to the sides and up over top of your head. Lengthening from toe to fingertip. As you breathe, when you're ready to exhale, bring the arms down, but just to shoulder height again. And this time, keeping the fingertips up. So what we'll do here is employ the heart meridian. So arms perpendicular with the body, fingertips up. And just notice if you can feel any sensations running from the bottom or the palm of your hand toward the heart as you breathe. Notice if you have a lot of intensity building up in sensation, and if you want to take a little break at any time. You can also employ more sensation by pressing into the base of the hands. And then whenever you feel ready, you can let the arms come all the way down and just sort of shake out the palms. Come into standing. And again, notice what's going on in your body. Notice the sensations that are arising. You might have a difference from one side of your body to the other. You might feel some shaking or some movement. That's all very normal. You may feel nothing, and that is also normal and fine. Just being present with your embodied sensation. Take a nice deep breath and notice if that felt okay for you and if that's something that you would like to repeat on the other side. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes again if you had them closed and take a moment to find that drishti point on the wall. And when you find that drishti point on the wall, you can shift your weight over to the opposite leg and bringing your weight onto that opposite leg. Notice how that feels, if that feels safe. You can bend your knee, bring a looseness to the knee so that the muscles are engaged and the knee is not locked. And when you feel ready, you can wrap that left foot around. Again, at any point, it may differ from the other side. You can start with the toe on the ground, work your thigh over the opposite thigh if that works for you today. And wherever your toes kind of fall naturally or it feels good. If you'd like to take a moment to check in with your hips, it's always a good idea to put your hands right on them and notice if they're side by side, happy and balanced, even as we twist. And when you get the chance, you can bring your arms up to shoulder height once again. Maybe drop into the heart meridian for 1 second as you bring them into the form of the eagle. So with the left leg on top, the left arm is on the bottom, and they come around, crossing over each other, palm to palm in front of the face. And again, focusing on your drishti form. If you fall out, just remember that that is balanced practice. And getting back in and out as you feel you'd like to experience sensation right now. Continuing to breathe deeply. Notice if you can draw the elbows up and the palms away from the face. as you breathe. And when you feel ready, you can release your arms, bring the feet down, and bring the arms way overhead with your breath in. And explore the reach of your wings. And just allowing your arms to come down to that chi position. Again, the palms of the hands reaching outward, the fingertips up towards the sky. And if this is not comfortable, if it's very painful or anything like that, please release yourself from that suffering. There's no need for that. But if your body invites you, notice if you can feel that activation in the heart. And you can release your hands. You can move them up and down, make some movements all around, and just notice what your body is calling to do and respond as you wish. So continuing to breathe deeply. Noticing the sensations if they differ from one side of the body to the other. Noticing any buildup of energy or movement within the body, where that is. And if you're able to breathe and bring some soothing, some integration to that activation. Drawing the breath in through the nose, down into the belly. That feels good for you right now. And stepping the feet about shoulder width or hip width apart, whatever feels good, whatever feels about right. Bring the arms out in front of you, about shoulder height. And then around behind you, and you can grab your hands together as though you were holding your own hands, just as we had done on the ground with the seated mudra. We'll do a standing mudra now, keeping the knees nice and loose. You can even bend your knees deeply. When you're ready to exhale, draw your belly towards your thighs. So you're going to rest your belly right on your thighs. If you want to test out if you're in the right form, when you inhale, feel your body press against your thighs. And then letting your head be heavy. With each breath, just let your head rest wherever it feels natural. Your arms, again, moving upward, but again, wherever they kind of land, your knuckles kind of pointing towards the ceiling or the sky. Just allowing yourself to continue to breathe in this form. Feel the belly press against the chest. Press against the thighs. Notice how the breath moves in your body. Notice if the restriction of space creates space in other places. And when you feel ready, you can slowly walk your hands up your thighs, up your legs. Come back to standing. And take a nice deep breath. Let everything kind of recalibrate. Notice the blood flow moving. Notice how having your head down below your heart and now raising it up again, sort of making some changes. And when you feel ready, you can step your feet wide apart. And this would be moving into a star form. So we're fully embracing the star. When you're ready to raise your arms up to shoulder height. And again, we're just going to keep the fingertips straight this time. We're not going to move into that very intense sensation we had before. And noticing the edges of the outward edges of the feet. Let the weight kind of rest into the outer edges of the feet. Let the tailbone move towards the ground so the knees are loose. You can wiggle your knees back and forth if you're not sure. This will also loosen up your hips. Allow the pelvis to engage so that you're kind of pressing down through the legs. And if you want to employ your breath on your exhale, squeezing out the last little bit of air at the end down through the legs. On the inhale, lifting up through the belly, ribs, chest, top of the head. And this time in the star, noticing these press points, the feet pressing down on the ground, the fingertips reaching out to your sides, the top of the head lifting up towards the sky, all from the center of the heart. And as you breathe, bringing your awareness into the heart, and notice if you can have a sense of that breath, the energetic flow of your receiving and giving, moving in and out through your limbs, from the top of your head, and through the heart center. We'll do 3 more deep breaths here in the center of our hearts. And if your body invites you, when you're ready, you can turn the right foot out and just bend the right knee. See if you can bring your elbow onto that right knee to rest. You can lift the left hand towards the ceiling, coming into a very gentle triangle form here. Moving through warrior 2 in a gentle form. And if your body feels a little bit challenging, you have a lot of intensity, you can stay right here. This is a beautiful form. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you can lengthen that front leg and just allow the hand to come down towards the ground or rest on the ankle. Whichever form that you choose today, I would invite you to look up towards the hand if that feels safe for your neck. And then on your exhale, look down towards the ground. So just sort of alternating up and down here. Sneaking in a little warm up for the neck. And if you want a little less intensity, you can bend the knee a little deeper in some ways, or you can come back up. On your next inhale, we're going to reach into the hand towards the ceiling and let it draw us back up to standing. You can let your arm come down to your side. Return both of your feet to face forward and take a nice deep breath. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So turning the left foot out and bringing the forearm onto the left thigh. Can lift the arm up towards the ceiling on the right and settle into whatever form feels natural for you here. Finding your way. Perfect. And again, moving your face up and down if that feels comfortable. And when you feel ready, you can bring both arms down, bend your knees deeply, and just sort of walk your hands to the center. Just moving at your own pace, doing a little bit of movement in the knees, so bending your knees back and forth. And we're doing just a wide leg forward bend. So just letting the body, the upper body be heavy. And the legs may shake. That's perfectly natural and normal. That's part of our form here. Just notice what's moving through your body. Notice if you can release any resistance to the movement of energy and flow, especially for your breath. So as you breathe deeply, notice again if you can feel the belly press against the thighs. You can feel the air move a little differently through your body. And when you feel ready, you can just sort of walk the feet in towards each other. And we're going to bring one knee down at a time so that we're kneeling once more. Taking in all the time that you need to transition. And if your body invites you, you can draw your chin towards your chest. And when you're ready to inhale, see if you can look upward, wherever it feels comfortable for your neck. If you feel a strain, you can stop just before you start to feel any kind of negative feeling. When you're ready to exhale, look down, chin towards the chest. And then keeping the chin kind of close to the chest, just drawing the ear towards the shoulder on one side. When you're ready to exhale, come back to the center. When you're ready to inhale, drawing the left ear or the opposite ear towards that shoulder. And back and forth at your own pace. That's kind of warming up your neck. Tuning into the sensations that arise as you move the face back and forth. And then when you're ready, you can relax that movement. We're going to come down onto our backs. So it's relaxing in a supine form. You can keep your knees bent. That feels comfortable. Notice if you'd like to bring your knees from one side to the other. If there's any kind of movement that you would like to take. Perfect. When you feel ready, see if you can bring your feet underneath your knees and the heels of your feet. Especially notice if you have any ability to press into your feet and if that feels okay on your knees to lift your bottom off the ground. Just kind of move back and forth a little bit with that. Press into the feet, lift the pelvis towards the ceiling. And then one vertebrae at a time, if possible, let yourself come back down. And try to move with your breath. Inhale, press and lift. And exhale, allow yourself to come back down. This time when you lift, if your body invites, you can stay up and just continue to breathe deeply. Notice the sensations changing as you hold. And breathe deeply to support the challenge if you wish, or you can go down at any time if you'd like to reduce the sensation. Feel free to make any kind of micro movements. And when you feel ready, drawing the belly up, expressing your challenge, and then slowly letting the vertebrae come down one little vertebrae at a time. And even when you feel your bottom on the ground, see if you can relax a little more deeply towards the bottom of your spine. Bring your knees together and your feet wide apart for a moment, just the length of your mat apart. Breathe. And now, if you have any issues with your shoulders or your neck, you may wish to choose the supine table here, and we'll begin there. So you can just draw your knees up, your feet up off the ground. And for the supine table, you would just put your palms of your feet facing the ceiling and the pointy fingers towards the ceiling as well, resting your shoulders and your hips on the ground. And this is a beautiful table inversion, letting the blood flow up towards your head. If your body invites you and you'd like a little more challenge, a little more sensation, and your shoulders and neck are safe to move with intensity, tuck your chin down towards the chest, draw your knees in towards your chest, and just see if you can press your hands down on either side of your bottom, on either side of your hips, and just kind of lift your bottom off the ground a little bit. Just see how that is for you. If you do handstands or shoulder stands regularly, you know what to do here. Feel free. But if this is okay for you, right here, pressing hands on the ground, you can bring your hands to your hips and just let your feet kind of move so that they line up with your eyes. So your feet aren't over top of your head. Your knees may be bent. Your knees may be bent here. This is a half shoulder stand already. More intensity can be brought into this, but we're looking for something in between. So you can hold for a moment and breathe deeply. If you've done a shoulder stand before, and that's something that calls to you, certainly feel free. Tucking the chin, noticing where in this form you can relax a little more deeply. So if you're in the table, noticing if you can relax your shoulders into the ground and your hips into the ground. If you're up on your shoulders, notice if you can relax in through your neck, drawing the chin towards the chest. And when you feel ready, you can bring your knees in towards your chest. So if you're in the headstand, the shoulder stand, you can let the knees come just down towards the chest, relieving a lot of the pressure, and just let your spine roll a little bit so that, again, your vertebrae one at a time comes down towards the ground. And at this point, we're all on our backs and hopefully resting a little more easily with our hands on our knees, if that's feeling good. And just let your tailbone kind of rock. So you put your hands on your knees. Just let your tailbone rock up and down. You may notice it feels a little more natural when you have more space to breathe in. So you can try it. Everyone's different. But when you're ready to inhale, see if you can press the knees out kind of naturally with your breath. So you inhale, your belly gets big and your knees move away from you. And your exhale, your belly shrinks and your knees come close. And just see if this apanasana feels right for you right now. And again, just moving with your breath. And if your body invites you, you can come back to the neutral central position and just begin to make circles with your lower back on the ground. So this may look to you like making circles with your knees on the ceiling, depending on your perspective. Getting a back massage, a circular massage in your lower back here. And see again if you can align with your breath. So when you inhale, your knees are moving away. When you exhale, they're coming in closer to your body. And just notice how that changes the sensation. And if your body invites, you can try moving in the opposite direction with your circles. Noticing anywhere that wants more attention and allowing yourself to sort of give what your body calls for at any juncture in the road here. Continuing to breathe deeply. And when you're ready, you can let the knees come wide apart, however wide it feels comfortable. And bring the feet towards the ceiling. So the palms of the feet are up. And you can grab either the inner part of the foot or the outer part of the foot, whatever feels really good for you. And just let your body rock from side to side. This is the happy baby form. Just allowing whatever feels natural. This can be somewhat intense. And if you have intensity that is not your flavor today, feel free to release that intensity and bring more softness in at any point. And when you feel ready, you can relax your legs down towards the ground. Just come into laying on your back. We're going to shift our weight over to the one side and bring the hand underneath the bottom. So the palm of the hand presses down on the ground underneath the bottom on one side. And then we'll sort of do the same thing on the other side. So you lift and bring the palm of that other hand underneath your bottom. And now we've been doing a lot about our brow chakra today. So we'll move into some final work here with the fish. So again, if you have sensitivities about your neck and shoulders, this may be contraindicated. You may wish to just kind of look up with just your eyes only and look up above you, above the top of your head. For anybody who's got shoulder injuries, I would choose that path. If you feel okay, you can point your toes, or another option is to reach into the heels of your feet. So whichever feels more activated and the kind of sensation that you're available for right now. Pressing into the feet, and then press into the hands and the elbows, lift the chest if your neck and shoulders are safe. Otherwise, remain on the ground and just look up towards above you. Pressing into the chest and the elbows, the gaze turns up above you naturally, keeping your eyes open here. And notice what lay before you from this different perspective. As you breathe deeply, bring your awareness to the space in between your eyes, pressing into the hands, lifting the chest, pressing up and out through the chest towards the ceiling, pressing into the feet, looking up wide-eyed above and beyond you, and allowing the brow to lead. Taking deep breaths here. And then relax back down at your own pace. Releasing your arms. Breathing deeply. If your gaze was wide open, you can close your eyes or relax your gaze now and just notice again the sensation, the effect of this form. Notice your breath if it's labored, if you need more oxygen. Notice the sensations running through your body. If you have any Thing happening in your legs, your arms, and continuing to breathe deeply. You can bend your knees once again and just let both knees come together to one side, getting a little twist. If your body invites you need like more intensity with your twist, you can bring your arms together and just sort of squeeze your shoulder, opposite hand on opposite shoulder, and turn to look away from your knees. So if your knees are towards the left, your gaze, your face turns towards the right. And when you're ready to exhale, see if you can squeeze out the last little bit of air here. And inhale, loosen the belly. Allow the body to lengthen where you can. Exhale, squeeze or wringing the body. Inhale, lengthen, finding space in this form. And when you feel ready to inhale again, just making your way back up to a neutral form here. So the knees pointing towards the ceiling and the face towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath here, and again, notice the sensations. Notice the difference from one side of the body to the other. Notice the breath and how that is landing in the body, how that feels. And when you feel ready, letting your knees come to the opposite side and your gaze away from them. Still with your hands, if you wish, on your shoulders. And breathe. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze and wring through the belly. Keeping motion in the twist, allowing rest in your muscles where you can. And when you feel ready, you can come back up to the center, the neutral form. Just hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little supine child's hug. You can make any kind of micro movements here that you wish, but especially noticing if you can relax through your lower back and your hips as you squeeze. Notice if you need a little more stretch. If you'd like to find any ways to provide that for yourself as well. Continuing to breathe deeply and just finding your way into a relaxed form, a shavasana. Noticing any way you can bring more comfort and relaxation to your form. If your neck is at all stiff or sore from some of the work that we've done, you can draw your chin in towards your chest and release it back down. Your shoulders and your chest are feeling some intensity still. You can lift the chest, press the shoulders into the ground, and then allow them to relax back down. you're feeling some intensity in around your lower back, you can bend the knees, bring the feet to the ground, and you can stay with the feet on the ground if that's best for you. And tuning into the sensation of your body on the ground. Notice the connection you feel with the ground as you inhale, drawing in from that connection. Noticing the breath from above coming in through the nostrils and down through the esophagus. Notice the sensation of the air in the nostrils. Notice if you're able to feel the breath as it comes down the throat. Notice if you're able to feel any sensation of the air meeting your lungs and moving through your lungs. At the base of your lungs, notice if you have any awareness of sensation around the diaphragm, pulling the lungs open and pushing them closed. And as the air moves about your lungs, notice if you can feel any awareness of its extraction of the oxygen and that moving into your bloodstream, up into your heart. And as you continue to breathe, you can sense that connection between your breath and the nourishing of your heart. And as you breathe deeply, notice if you can feel that nourishment move out from your heart, down through your legs to your toes. And if you can feel that nourishment move out from your heart and down through your arms to your fingertips. And if you can feel that nourishment move up through the top of your head, and as you continue to breathe deeply, noticing the top of your body, you have a sense of some lightness, that different quality from the part that's touching the ground. Just allowing yourself to move into that lightness, into that air. Relaxing deeply as you breathe. Allowing yourself to explore what is beyond your body form. Notice here if you are able to connect with your heart center. As you expand it, allow yourself to move beyond the ground, connecting deeply through your breath with your heart center. Noticing the sensation of the air on the nostril, returning slowly to the body sensations. Noticing you're able to find the ground again underneath you. And when you feel ready, see if you are able to connect with the ground again in that way from the beginning of our practice, where it was exhale, pressing out and receiving up from the ground. Inhale, opening to receive from above. Allowing the breath to bring you back into your body gently, noticing the sensation of the ground on your skin. Notice if you're able to feel your body because you feel the ground. As you breathe, noticing the shift in that sensation. The pressure moves around. And if you feel ready, you can move your fingertips and toes a little bit. You may wish to have a stretch, or you may wish to move into a fetal, more comforting form. You can choose that naturally as you wish now. And taking a moment to sink deeply into your rest once again. Noticing that although you may have moved, you are able to return to that deep relaxation as you breathe. And when you feel like you have arrived and are ready to move into more, you can begin to come up to sitting and find your way into whatever seated form feels right for you. If you're able to do a cross leg, that may be ideal, but if not, all forms will work. All are permitted. And you can take a moment when you're seated to just settle back into your relaxation. We are in no hurry in any way. As we're seated, you can just sort of notice if you have any natural inclination to make some circles from your hips. Maybe kind of seated on the ground, just sort of circling in whatever way feels natural. You can rest your hands on your thighs, your knees, and I would invoke a mantra now, Soham. Soham meaning in Sanskrit, I am, claiming our place in the universe, not unlike we might do with the LBRP. And as you reach forward with your body in this circle, here we would do the hum. So as you come back, so as we move here, imagining the center that we're oscillating around as our middle pillar, as our strong abiding center. And as we move from side to side, we're going oscillating between the other columns in the tree of life. Maybe you're on the Chesed and Gabura, or anywhere else in the in the epic tree. You can also, with your mind, notice if when you come forward, that feels a little bit to you like inhabiting a body or incarnating. And when you come back, if that feels to you like being in another place that's perhaps not the same. Begin to sound this now, and you can do so again as you wish, inner or outer. When you're ready to breathe in, so, and breathe out, hum. So, 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 hum. And if you like to try the circles in the opposite direction, you can slowly move that way, alternating your circle. So, hum. 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 As you circle, see if you can lift up a little more through the spine, through the top of the head, still keeping the circle. So, hum. So, hum. So, hum. And slowly, as you wish, you can return to a point of stillness, taking all the time you need to wind down from the circling, making any kind of movements in response to anything that your body might call for here. Breathe deeply. And when you've arrived, just noticing what arises within you as you breathe. Notice if you're able to count your breaths and match the timing of your breath in and out. If you count 4 on your in, so you can count 4 on the out. If you need to add any numbers, or if you'd like to try adding numbers with each breath, you can do so as well. Coming back to your seat as you breathe, allowing your breath to just return to its normal state. Noticing again the connection with the ground under your bottom. This time when you breathe, you can squeeze out the last little bit of air at the end to connect deeply with the ground. And just focus on the belly here as you breathe in and out, the full expression of a belly breath. Just let the breath return to normal. And notice if you are able to return to your intention from the very beginning, noticing the journey, noticing the change in state of mind or body, anything that's different. And when you feel ready, you can begin to bring your hands to your heart, pressing the base of the thumbs into the heart. Anjali Mudra. Notice if you can take a moment to connect with our connecting at the beginning with our fingertips. Hakini Mudra. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti means peace, peace, peace. And so it is. And now we will release our practice and return to our normal state, normal life. We have a couple of extra minutes if anybody wants to chat or anything like that. But also feel free to message me later if you have questions or experiences. You may be a little bit activated in the brow. And so what I would recommend, if you feel that activation is unsettling, you can do nice saltwater baths, put some attention onto your feet with a foot massage or your legs. These are ways to sort of ground and relax all this action in the brow. This is so beautiful for me to share with you, and thank you for your patience with the technical things, and I really appreciate sharing time and space with you.
Thank you, Dawn. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn.
My
That was
pleasure.
really nice. I'll see you later.
I'll see you later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's great to see you.
You too. Thanks. Good night.
Take care.
You too.